everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm John and this is Matt, and today we're going to be doing Matt's Sonos Arc re-review. So Matt, a few months ago when we first started the channel in January, our second video we ever put up on the channel was a review for Matt's brand new Sonos system.
I joined the Sonos ecosystem, like you said.
And we thought, hey, why don't we check in on Matt's Sonos system and see if he still feels the same way he did back in January. And Matt, what do you think? Does it still hold up?
So like John said, we are going to re-review the Sonos. Quick story, we had the Samsung, well you still have it,
yep.
The Samsung Q90R soundbar. And when I got my OLED down here and I changed my Wi-Fi router, so I was having connectivity issues with the two rear speakers on the Samsung. So I went up to Best Buy and I was going to do a Denon receiver, hardwire all the speakers in and all that stuff. But after talking to the guys there, I just finished my basement and like an idiot I didn't think to run the wires through the walls and the ceiling and all that stuff. And it's also like 10 grand to do a pretty serious sound system like I wanted. So I ended up going with the Sonos because the guy's like, try the Sonos, it's wireless, it sounds great. I was like, I don't know, I was a little skeptical because I was like, the soundbar I have sounded great. You know, I'll give it a shot, I guess. It's another soundbar. I got it home and I was blown away. I was thoroughly impressed with the Sonos. It sounds incredible. So I want to start by saying I still love my Sonos. I think it sounds amazing. I think it's a big step up from the Samsung soundbar. However, there are some negatives that have been bothering me a little bit over the few months since our original video. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this video. So mainly the big thing to me was it doesn't support DTS or any DTS tracks, DTS-X, DTS HD, all the DTS stuff is not supported. And it has some sort of software or technology in there where it converts it to, I guess, a regular 5.1 or a Dolby Atmos or a Dolby whatever, Dolby Digital. I don't know how it does it. Maybe the discs just have a Dolby track on it as well. But primarily, if you look at the back of a Blu-ray or something, the flagship track will be advertised. So, in my opinion, Atmos is the best, but DTS is DTS-X is basically the Atmos of the DTS world.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you know, it's 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other, depending on who's mixing the track. We had some conversations with some people down in the comments on a previous video, and they actually really informed me on some stuff that I didn't know. And I think I personally prefer Atmos just because the technology, that what can be done with Atmos is better, but an Atmos track is not always better, depending on who mixed it. So with that being said, the Sonos Arc does support Dolby Atmos and all the Dolby tracks out there. Mm-hmm. So it does have that, and that's the more common, you know, that's mainly what stuff has, but there is DTS stuff floating around that I wish I could take advantage of.
Yeah, and Matt, you also bought, when you bought them, you bought it with two rear speakers, and there was two different types, and I remember you saying you originally bought the small ones, but you ended up going with the two big rear.
If you guys are familiar, it's basically an ecosystem. So you could pair all sorts of Sonos stuff together, but specifically with the Sonos Arc. The only way this works is eARC into your TV, and then there is no Bluetooth connectivity to this. The only way you're linking a phone to your Sonos is through Apple AirPlay. Apple AirPlay 2, if you want to get technical. But you can connect to that, and it creates an ecosystem in your house. So now once you get your Arc, you can pair it with the SL1s or the 5s, or the Play 5s, whatever they call it. So I went with the 5s because I like overkill. And then I paired it with the Generation 3 subwoofer. So if you do the math, this is probably double the price of what we paid for the Samsung.
Well, the Arc is $899. The rears alone are $549 each, and then $749 for the subwoofer. And you can even overkill that and connect a second subwoofer, which you've been kicking around the idea of doing.
Yeah. So the ultimate Sonos setup you can do is everything I have plus another subwoofer. So you can have your subwoofer up front, one subwoofer in the rear of the room. So if you do two subs, you want them diagonal. You want one on your right side, your right front, and then one, or vice versa. But just put them diagonal. That's what's suggested. I don't. I understand it, I guess, but that's just the way.
Can't you get the other small rear speakers too? Like add them like as like a ceiling like kind of speakers?
No, you can't add anything else to this. You can have your left and right rear, 2 subwoofers, and your soundbar, and that's the home theater Sonos setup.
Gotcha. Okay.
So now I can get other Sonos speakers in my home, and I can link them all together, and they can all play the same thing. But as far as home theater goes, through the ARC, because this is the brain, I guess, when we're doing home theater. So this will only connect to so much as far as home theater output.
And everything runs through the app, right? There is no remote?
Correct. There is no remote. Everything runs through the app. There's no digital display. But it sounds incredible. I know people come over and they're like, wow, this thing sounds amazing. The subwoofer is the standout in the Sonos to me. That Sonos subwoofer sounds absolutely incredible, and it looks gorgeous. I love the design that you can see through it. It's really cool. And then you can get black or white. I went with the white because I painted my basement white, and I thought, and it was hard to get the black at the time, so I said, you know what, I'll settle for the white. It looks cool. I like white tech. You don't see that often, and I'm really glad I did, because where I have the rear speakers are kind of out in the open, and they blend in because they're white with the white walls and all that. So I really like the white. But again, the Sonos sounds absolutely incredible. There's so much you can do on the app. You can tune all your audio levels, your sub level, the rears, the height speakers. For a soundbar, this is not a Denon, this is not a Marantz receiver where you're paying $10,000, $12, $13, $14. You could spend $30,000 on a home theater setup and blow this out of the water, of course. But for a soundbar, I think this is pretty much top dog in the soundbar realm. But the one thing that really bothers me is the lack of other audio formats.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out that I've always been jealous of, because I can't do this on my Samsung soundbar, and that is adjust the dialogue track. Because for some reason on most mixes, the dialogue track is lower than everything else, and I have to play with my remote where all of a sudden the dialogue, I'm turning it all the way up, and then the next scene a plane wants to fly overhead, and I gotta explain to my wife why I'm waking everybody up at 12 in the morning. So So
I took my Q90 and I put it in my bedroom. But when I go upstairs and I watch TV in the bedroom, I'm having the same issue. My girlfriend's sleeping next to me and it's fine, and all of a sudden explosions are going off, and our room isn't too big, so the surround sound speakers are on our nightstand. So she loves that. But it's really night and day from the Samsung to this, and I thought that Samsung sounded incredible.
Yeah.
So maybe I could only imagine what a full-blown $30,000 home theater would, with the ceiling speakers and all the. Because I think there's like 14 speakers in a true Atmos setup. You got them all through the walls, in the ceiling,
the whole
behind
point.
you. It's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to really experience the true sound of something, the way to do it is go to a Dolby Theater and sit in the dead center seat, because that's where the sound mixer sits when he adjusts all the tracks for it.
Right.
So that's the perfect seat, and I mean, if you could bring that home, that would be incredible, obviously.
Right.
But that's impossible. I mean, I guess you can get it pretty damn close, but you lose some of the movie theater experience, obviously.
I love it still. I wouldn't know what else to get, but the DTS-X thing really kind of bothers me after talking to somebody in the comments. But it still sounds great. I really don't know exactly what they convert the DTS-X to play it at, because it plays something.
Yeah.
Our Blu-ray players support DTS, so I'm not sure exactly what kind of witchery goes on in between there. But it's great. If you're on the fence, if you're thinking about a Sonos, I can guarantee you that the price you pay for the Sonos is worth it, because they use extremely high-end components. Their speakers sound incredible. Like he said, the clear dialogue option, it sounds amazing. It's so crisp, it's so clear, it doesn't get distorted. The subwoofer is absolutely insane. I could not imagine 2 subwoofers. I mean, I could, I guess, but literally my house would fall down because it rumbles and shakes. I had to put foam pads on the back of the picture frames on my walls down in my basement because it was rattling the pictures off the damn walls. That's how much this thing fucking shakes the house. It's insane.
Yeah, Matt brings people over and shows them the end scene to Avengers Endgame, and you think the house is going to crumble. And that's
Right.
from a soundbar with two. I mean, these rear speakers are big, and like Matt keeps saying how good the subwoofer is, but he's really selling short how amazing these rears.
So I went with the 5s, which are really, really overkill for my setup. But I wanted to. I like overkill. It's my middle name. You know,
Yeah.
I'm a big overkill guy. So you'd probably be okay with the 1s. And the beauty with the Sonos also is you don't have to pay $4,000 right up front. You can buy the Arc, save up a little money, get your subwoofer, save up some money, decide what rears you want, then add your rears.
Yeah.
You know, so I've been saving money and debating, do I want to put a second subwoofer in just to say I have the ultimate Sonos setup? Maybe one day I will.
Yeah. That's actually something we said in the original video that just rung to my mind when you said that, like adding as you go, because I remember I said specifically that, you know, hey, for Christmas maybe you ask for the rear, so you ask your girlfriend, oh, you know what, I want the rear speakers for my system downstairs. You don't have to just shell out the cash right out of the gate. You can take some time, build it over time, and they allow you to do that, build up in their ecosystem.
Right, and speaking of ecosystem, if you're an Apple guy, you have an iPhone or an iPad, then you'll be right at home with the Sonos because it pairs perfectly with Apple products. The Samsung and the Galaxy stuff, not so much. You're going to have a tough time with that. So keep that in mind when shopping around for the Sonos. I don't know why they do it like that. Maybe they have some sort of deal. Maybe they just don't like the Galaxies. I'm not sure. But you basically need an iPhone to control it. You don't need it, but it definitely helps.
Yeah, definitely. So that's going to do it for our Sonos re-review. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little conversation, us looking back on Sonos, and maybe hopefully it helps you choose which soundbar and which route you want to go with your home theater. And as always, guys, if you did like this video, nothing helps out more than by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. And then I want you guys to all go out and tell all your friends.